Good morning from AXPONA 2024. I'm very happy to be here for my second year in a row. This year I arrived one day early, Wednesday afternoon, and it was kind of interesting. Most of the venue is empty, but I learned that exhibitors who pay a premium can begin setting up Wednesday, which gives them an advantage over everybody else who has to wait until Thursday morning. Last year, I went from room to room pretty quickly and did a lot of video shorts. This year, I'm going to do a slightly different format. I'm going to do some of that video short stuff, but I think more importantly, I'm going to do mini impromptu interviews, typically in connection with new product debuts. For example, I interviewed Angus Lung, who is showing his dual Westminster Lab Quest preamp setup. I interviewed Damon van Schweikert, who was showing his VR 55 Special Edition. I interviewed Morten of Audio Group Denmark, who's showing the new Borson stand mount speaker. And Morten very kindly conveyed Fleming's good wishes to me. And thank you, Morten and Fleming. I just want you to know, Tinka and I miss you and we love you. I also interviewed Todd Binnix, who now represents Avant-Garde, regarding the debut of the Avant-Garde Mezzo. I interviewed Shane Bettner, who now represents SAT, improvements to the SAT turntable and tone arm. I interviewed Florian and Mike regarding the new Auditorium Plus and the debut of the new smallest Clarissa speaker, the Piccolo. So that's been very fun. I went to a few different rooms. I enjoyed another debut. Runa Skov of Griffin is debuting the EOS 5, which I heard. It sounded great, very rich, weighty, and dynamic. And interestingly, not only did I hear it, but I've gotten some pretty good reports on Griffin's new Power Zone power conditioner thing. Even to my ears, I even heard a difference. It seemed to warm the sound up, and two friends of mine said they clearly heard a difference, and it improved detail and realism. So I don't know what that box is doing, but apparently something positive. I saw the Aries Seurat Auroras. I don't know how Stavros gets that stunningly glossy museum quality finish on those things, but just looking at those things is a sight to behold. And I only heard it on one girl with guitar song, but it sounded very smooth, very sweet, very natural. One interesting thing I found, and this was another quickie interview, a company, Credo from Switzerland, is showing a large model they call the Cinema. I suggested to the guy, you don't want to confuse cinema with high-end audio, and this is their top-of-the-line speaker, so I didn't love that name. But it's a very long, thin line array of small mid-woofers and small tweeters with 4 12-inchers side firing per side. Sounded very good, and Keith Rochelle also thought it sounded very good when he heard it. We went to Jeff Catalano's room, High Water Sound. Jeff always gets great sound. This year, again, he was showing the Cesaro Opus with the matching subwoofer. And this time with the Aliano Electronics, which I'm familiar with from Audio Quader Jeroen in the Netherlands, who's had the Aliano Electronics for a long time. I think the Aliano may be a little overkill power-wise for the Opus, but anyway, Jeff is enjoying showing with the Aliano, and it's interesting to see that combination. He's also showing with the TW acoustic turntable. Justin of Amps and Sound was showing in a room with our friend Russ Stratton. Sounded wonderful. Kat, formerly from Upscale, was being the DJ, and the room sounded natural and fun. They were playing great music, so it was great to hear Justin's amps on his own loudspeakers, kind of like Altex. Colin. So we went to the Wolf von Lange room. This year, Colin's showing the London model, which is interesting because it's 2 field coil woofers underneath a wideband dynamic driver, not the little ribbon thing. I seem to like field coil wherever I hear it. It would be very interesting to compare directly the open baffle 2 woofer von Lange London to the open baffle Ken Sanger S2. I'd be very curious to hear those two in the room side by side. We'll never hear it, but whatever the field coil thing is doing, I just find it to improve naturalness and believability. I ran into Jay. We had a very nice catch-up talk, so that was fun. Thanks, Jay. I ran into Ken Stevens, is partnering with Florian in the auditorium, in the Claris's room with the big auditoriums. Ken is somebody who's been legendary in the business. I've always considered him enigmatic, kind of like I've always considered Andy Payer a little bit enigmatic. But Ken was absolutely delightful in person. I had a long talk with him. It was really a privilege to speak to a tube legend like Ken. I told him I'm enjoying my Jadis. He didn't really, he kind of jumped on that. He said, I didn't completely understand what he said, but he said that Jadi smooths over the partition noise of ultralinear operation. So I'm not 100% sure what that means. I don't really know what partition noise is, but I have to look into that because it's coming from the mouth of a tube legend, even if he is a competitor of Jadi, obviously. And besides, I don't care what the dogma is or what the technicality is. You know, all I care about is emotional engagement. So I'm going to work more on listening to actual rooms today, continue with a few more interviews. I also interviewed Lucas Fickus. He's going to be appearing on the channel. If you've liked this report, please click like and please kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel here. Thanks, and I will report to you tomorrow after I hear more today.